Hello everyone, Erin here. Welcome back to my channel, Crafty Concepts with Erin. Some crafty friends and I are working our way through the Make It From Your Heart Volume 6 sketchbook from Close to My Heart. And last month we did this layout here, and I will have that linked in the description box below. We're going to start a playlist too because we're working through the whole book, and I think it's going to be fun to watch these sketches come to life. So this month we're doing pattern number 2. Now you can see here they give you two different examples showing you the sketch used with different papers and kind of flipped. So here they have the title on the lower left, and here they flipped it and it's on the upper right. And these do give you all of the measurements and everything you need to easily put these together. I am going to use the I Want Candy collection to create a Halloween layout. I'll be documenting two photos, spooky photos of my niece. I'll tell you more about the photos as we go along, but there's some pinks in this photo and it kind of has that creepy doll vibe. So this collection is kind of fun because on one side you have a candy theme and on the other it lends itself well to Halloween, so you could really go either way. I do have some bits and pieces. I'm working with quite a bit of scraps because I already created a layout here on my channel. Now this is a single page sketch, but you could definitely turn it into a double page very easily. This is a great sketch. It's one that I think I will use over and over again. And I'm just lining up a piece of white daisy. Those were removable glue dots that I added to my mat. You can use just regular old tape and then use your gum remover eraser to take that off afterwards. But I just love these. They're so easy, and you can pick it up if you want to flip the mat over for stamping, and then they just roll up real easily and come right off. I am actually going to pop this out of my album so that we can just have this here for reference. Again, there are a lot of the measurements. My photos are a little bit different, so they have two 4x6 photos. My niece sent these to me and they were in 9x16 format. So to preserve, I really couldn't crop them because they were zoomed in so tightly. So they are 6 by 3.5, so just slightly skinnier than the traditional 4x6. For my paper strips, I did follow the measurements. So I have the candy paper. You'll notice there's like this pinkish hue, and the doll's in pink. So I think that this is going to actually be really fun. I know it's a very non-traditional Halloween color palette. Oh, I don't want that scrap. But I think that this is going to work really well. So we've got I'm going to go with this one with the title or this element on the bottom. So I'm putting my wider strip at the top of the layout. And then I want to bring in the stripe pattern and then repeat those colors down here on the bottom. I cut another little strip of paper. Actually, I think we'll put the stripe at the bottom and then the candy paper at the top. I don't know if you guys can see that. It says, it's just the word candy written in different fonts and rotated. It's really a cute pattern paper. But I've seen others use it for ice cream layouts and donuts, just anytime, like crumble cookie layouts, anytime sweet treats are involved. But it is working well for Halloween photos too, especially those of you with cute little granddaughters in like butterfly or, you know, My Little Pony type costumes. This Halloween paper works great. So we've got the photos kind of staggered like that. You don't have to follow it exactly, but I am going to, you know, stagger my photos in this case. So we're going to go like this. I don't want to cover up the doll, so I'm going to put that one on top. I am going to ink up the edges with charcoal ink. I love to use black, and I definitely could. There's black in the photos, but I think that charcoal is going to be a little bit softer of a look, and sometimes grays can have like a purpley undertone, and I want to bring purples in. Purple Royal and Periwinkle are both in this paper collection, and her dress, although I think it's black, but in the lighting it has like a purplish glow to it, so I think it's going to be fun to accent with those colors. So I'll just go ahead and get this piece and then pause the rest, or pause the camera and get the rest done while you guys are grabbing a cup of coffee or something of that nature. See how much it just makes that stand out just by adding a little inking to the edge. Okay, I got those inked up. I am going to go ahead and get these adhered to the mat. So I'm just going to add a little bit of tape runner to these strips. And this is one of the reasons why I love working on the VersaMat. Every time I scrapbook, I use this. It's pretty handy, and you can easily line up your paper strips from left to right, because how many of you get yours crooked all the time? There's the T-square ruler also, which makes it handy, and this is kind of designed to clip onto the edge of the VersaMat, and then you can make sure you're getting a straight line too. But look at that. I got that perfectly just by using the measurements on the mat to make sure I was at the same level each side. But make sure your paper is square on your VersaMat, because if it's not, then it's not going to help you. So I'm going to line this one up with the top here. And perfect. This is going to be fun. Now on the sketch, they actually give you measurements for all of these bits and pieces. This is a great layout for scraps because you can use tiny little leftovers to make this layout. And I am not going to follow the measurements because I have some scraps already from my previous layout. So I'm just going to play with these and see how they work. And I think that's going to be fun. Plus my photos are smaller, so I can use different size pieces. So that looks cute, kind of like that. Maybe we'll tilt this a little bit more and let that color peek out from around the photos. There is a glitter paper that comes with this collection, and it's like this iridescent pink. It's really pretty. So if there was ever a time to use pink glitter paper, I think that it is now. But I don't want to waste all that glitter paper. Glitter paper is expensive, so I am going to just kind of cut off a couple pieces here, and then I can tuck those behind, and it'll look like one continuous piece coming from behind the photos. So again, you can follow those measurements exactly, but I'm just going for the same look by layering bits and pieces here. On the sketch, they have used a circle to be a spot for their title on both layouts. I am going to use this spider web die. This is the coolest thing. So with the Eerie-sistible stamp and thin cuts, you get this die, which was really this is my favorite piece of the whole collection. I just think it's so fun. So you can always hold your dies or even stamp sets up on your layout to see how that's going to look. And I'm thinking about cutting it out in the glitter paper. So I'm going to go do that. I'll be right back. Here we go. Pink sparkly spider web. Why not? So I'm not going to cover that up with my title. I can put my title here or here. And I'm actually thinking of using this Happy Halloween stamp kind of as a title, and I want to use the 31st. My niece Madeline is actually a Halloween baby. She was born on the 30th, but between her birthday and Halloween, she always has tons of fun and loves to play around with face paint. She does this every year, different looks. Actually, she does work at a haunted house seasonally and does the face paint for them. So I've got that Happy Halloween stamp mounted on a block. We could put it right there, or we could put it up there. I kind of like it up there. I feel like it fits perfectly. Let's go with that option. So anytime you're stamping right on your layout, you guys hear me say this all the time, you can either put that little foam pad that comes with all Close to My Heart stamps behind your layout, or just flip your VersaMat over and the whole back is foam, which is nice because if you're doing a bunch of stamping, you don't have to keep moving around the little foam pad. Normally, I would use archival black anytime I'm stamping on my layouts because this is the richest, deepest black, but I'm going to use intense black because this is a new ink pad and it's nice and juicy, and I don't want to risk this not being a good stamped impression. I ordered the re-inker for my archival, or I need to order the re-inker for my archival black. Okay, so I've practiced several times with this to make sure it is stamping perfectly. I'm going to scoot this down so I can get my head over the area a little bit better to see that that is lined up. It's actually hard to do when you're filming. So I can use the top of that pattern paper to make sure I'm straight, and then just give it a second. You never want to lift up right away. The longer it sits, it's going to soak into those paper layers, and that looks pretty darn good. There is some distressing actually built into these images. You can see it really well on the 31st, and even the bat, it's supposed to look like that. That's just kind of a fun distressed look. So we can flip this back over. Again, that's why I like the removable glue dots, because I can easily peel this off and then, you know, flip my VersaMat over if I need to, and then re-stick them on the front when I'm ready to start crafting again. From the coordinating sticker sheet, you can see they have all these banner elements up here. So I wanted to use this little circle because I want to bring in that purple color. And then there's a word sentiment that says irresistible and then love this. So I thought that those would be cute with the color scheme. And I just want to keep building up a little bit more up in this top area here. And then I was thinking I can kind of put this over the spider web here. And I'm going to bring in some bats and actually stamp those in purple. I'm kind of picturing them flying up the side of the page. But if you look at the layout, they've just got some bits and pieces. They are using florals and then some sentiments. So I've got the Happy Halloween, and then we'll just kind of bring in some bits and pieces to, you know, build that up. I want to stamp the 31st, and then I'm going to use Royal for the bats. So I have a couple pieces of, we'll use this one for 31st and then put some bats on here. So I'm just going to grab my little foam pad for behind my papers. And then let's stamp the bats first. These guys are cute. I used them on the last Halloween layout I did, which I will post some videos at the very end. If you're looking for more Halloween inspiration, you can just click right on that video and it'll take you to my Halloween layout playlist. So yeah, these are going to look good. I'm liking the purple. So maybe 3 of them. You know me and my odd numbers. So we'll do 3 of the little bats. Yeah, that really draws out the color in her dress there in the photo. That's going to be perfect. And then we'll use black. Since we brought black in here, we'll use black for the 31st here. My kids are pretty much, you know, they're too old for trick-or-treating, but they do like to get dressed up and go hang out with their friends at Halloween parties. My youngest son's girlfriend is a Halloween baby too, so lots of Halloween birthdays. Okay, fun. You know what? That's not quite saturated enough. So again, just stamp it a few times and then make sure it's stamping well. And then we'll stamp it for real on the back side. I'm going to cut this out with a circle. That looks much better. I like that. I went ahead and got those all die cut out. So I'm thinking just kind of flying up the page. And then we'll need one somewhere else. So we could maybe go up there. And then I did cut a black circle slightly larger just to mat this white circle so it's not getting lost on the background there. And we'll just center that there, and then I think this will fit perfectly right there. Yeah, I like that. And then actually I'm going to move this one here. And then my pink spider web, I think I want to add some just really soft purple ink blending behind that so that there's more definition. What do you guys think? I think it's going to look good. If you are ever concerned about trying things like this, just in fear that you might mess up your layout there, you can always try it out on a piece of scrap paper. So grab a piece of paper that's the same color as your background, and then you can kind of fake it to see how it's going to look before committing. So I have my purple ink here, the Royal ink, and I'm using a blending brush, and I want to create this soft color. So this is a dark color, so I'm blotting it off first, and the blending brushes do help you give a softer look. So this way we can try it without, you know, let me lift that up actually with my Cricut spatula so I can kind of tuck that under there and get a better idea of what that's going to look like. And you can even use plain printer paper if you don't want to use cardstock. I do like how that looks. Now you can use this or even the backside for another project so it's not wasted, or again, just use a little piece of plain old white printer paper like this here. So again, I'm blotting that off on my scratch paper, and then very light hand. I started getting a heavier hand there, but that's okay. The web will camouflage that, and just very soft touch. But it just creates this nice glow of color popping out from behind that spider web. So I think that we'll get those back into place. Now I did go ahead and stamp these 3 ghosties here with intense black ink. Normally I would add a little shadowing with like an ice gray gray or brown gray, but I thought I'd use my dusty purple since we're playing with purples. Why not? And I'm going to just add a little bit of interest to these otherwise white images. Now, as the light's coming from his face, so we're going to go on the back side of his little head here to create the shadow. And I'm just using the lightest color and very softly creating this shadow on this white cardstock. Let's go down the front a little, maybe under his arm. Why not? And you do want that to fade out into a tiny little point there. I did this one off camera and added a few little pleats, like if his sheet were kind of wrinkled or hanging down. And I think I'll put this little guy right over here. And then we'll do this one up here. And then this one, I'm not 100% sure if we're going to use him. We'll set him aside for now and see. On the Irresistible stamp set, there's this little kind of pattern. It's got like a diamond and a couple plus signs. It's almost like a splatter stamp concept. I thought it'd be cute to add in second generation. So first generation, you ink it up and then you stamp it directly to your paper. That's first generation. And then second generation, you'd ink it up and then you would stamp it. Oops, that's not quite ink. Stamp it and then don't re-ink and stamp again. That's second generation. You get a lighter color. So we're going to go with that on the layout. So again, ink it up. And then we're going to blot this off and then go directly to our layout so we get that lighter color of the same shade. I don't want it to compete with my bats. So that way, if it's one shade lighter, it's complementing them instead of just overwhelming the area with too much purple. I actually think I want to move this particular bat down here, just to have a little something something in that corner. I pulled out my Boo Crew stamp set. This one is no longer available, but I wanted to use the witch hat here. So I did stamp that in royal, and I thought it'd look cute up here, just adding more color to that and more interest. Then we'll put the goat right underneath the ghost underneath the top here. And then we can add one more little cluster of this splatter right up here by the hat. I like it. Let's stop while I'm ahead. I added my journaling in strips just like they did on the example layout, and I wanted a little bit more sparkle, so I've added the clear sparkle gems just scattered around the different embellishment clusters, and then popped up the ghost and the sentiments and the bats all on foam tape to give it a little bit more dimension. So I know my friend Melanie over at Mel's Stampin' Gallery has a take on this sketch using completely different paper. So head on over to her channel to see what she has done with this layout. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. It does help me out quite a bit here on YouTube. Everything I used to create this project can be found in the description box below. And if you're looking for more Halloween inspiration, you're going to want to check out this playlist right here. And then here is the playlist for the sketches we are creating from this sketchbook. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.